Live.
Oh. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's dance show. 女士们、先生们，亲爱的朋友们，欢迎你们来，在这个特殊的情况下来参加我们今天的舞蹈演出。This is a unique time and a unique performance. And I want to use this opportunity to introduce the reason for today's gathering, Miss 金秋月老师。你想跟大家说点什么吗，金老师？
好的，我的新老学生们，我亲爱的朋友们，因为疫情延期1年半的演出，今天在这里举行。2个月前，在形势一片大好的情况下，我们筹建了这场晚会。可是人算不如天算呢。就在一切准备都即将就绪的时候，传来了疫情反扑的信息。为了大家的安全，我们选择了进场直播的形式。我们没有了聚会，可是通过银幕，你们还可以看到漂亮的舞蹈，你们还可以感受到舞者们的情谊。希望天下太平，无病毒的日子快快来到。
This performance has been delayed for a year and a half, and we were all happy to make it happen. Then, all of a sudden, Delta started. So for everybody's safety, we decided to follow the Olympic theme or format. So today, you're viewing us via a screen. But I hope you can still enjoy the beautiful dance, and I hope someday down the road, we will still be able to see each other again.
在这里，我首先要致谢小星星的父母们，Oak Park 女儿舞蹈团的爸爸妈妈们，你们那伟大的爱始终震撼着我。在你们培养孩子的同时，我也分享着伟大的爱。我受到尊重，受到信任和保护。你们是我最尊敬、最怀念的人。
First of all, I want to thank the parents of Little Star Performance Group and Oak Park Daughters Group. In many years, your love has inspired me. While your daughters are learning, I am learning from you. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for letting me teach your daughters. You are the ones that I will miss the most.
在我初来美国的时候，有缘遇到杨佐，我们联手组建了黄河舞蹈团。我们搞了那么多的演出，我们排了那么多的节目，我们成就了那么多人的舞蹈梦，他们现在以舞为乐。
Okay, when I first arrived in the United States, I was very fortunate to meet Miss Yang Zuo, with whom we have designed, delivered so many programs and performance. We have, make a lot of people's dance dreams come true and make dance part of their life.
之后我又认识了 鸠里马，他给了我灵感，我创编了200多人演出的古典舞剧《七夕》，让更多的美国各夷的朋友看到中国舞，了解更多的有着历史文化的中国。
Then I ran into Julie Ma, who inspired me to design a dance called Qixi. Qixi is the Chinese Valentine's Day. This is a performance that was done by over 200 people. It gave the American audience an opportunity to enjoy the beauty of Chinese dance.
感谢多年来追随我学舞的专业的、业余的大小舞者们的不离不弃。感谢常年来无酬帮助我的幕后英雄们，谢谢你们。
I want to thank all my students, the professionals, the amateurs, the older ones, the younger ones. I also want to thank all of the people that helped me behind the scene.
25年前，我的学生唐文娟给我编了义舞化蝶，这舞我在这儿跳了很久，我也得到了很多人的爱，可见中国舞的魅力。现在我把飞天的大小舞者交给有着资历深厚的、专业训练的Joe和 Ocean， 我相信他们会带着我的大小舞者们飞得更高，舞得更美。
Then I have a student, Tang Wenjuan, who designed the butterfly dance for me 25 years ago. That dance has won me a lot of reputation and love, and I've been dancing that dance for a long, long time. Now, we have this professionally trained Joe and Ocean, who will continue this legacy, and I think they're gonna fly higher and dance more beautifully.
现在让我们欣赏影片和演讲，我们大家一起回顾过去我们曾经有过的快乐时光。
So you will be seeing some reviews and presentations that will bring us back to the time that we spent together, those beautiful times that we spent together. Thank you.
谢谢。
The presenters, please come to the stage.
Which one? Not the one she's holding.
Good afternoon, Miss Jen, good to see you. I'm Kathy McMahon, and I'm honored to participate in the New Moon retrospective and tribute for Miss Jen, celebrating her retirement and the bright future ahead for Flying Fairies. I am here today with my daughter Miera, representing the original Little Stars dance troupe, and will be presenting Miss Jen's early years of teaching dance in the U.S. from the mid-90s till 2011. This timing coincides with our family's experience with Miss Jen. With Miera starting dancing with her at around 5 years old and staying through turning 18 and graduating high school. Next slide. As an adoptive mom of a Chinese American daughter, I am here to thank Miss Jen for all she's done for us. I'm forever grateful for her love and dedication to us, as well as the time and experiences that we've shared together. As you can see in these pictures, Miss Jen is far more than a dance instructor. She became a special part of each of our family's lives. With Miss Jen, we were able to learn and experience Chinese heritage firsthand and gain a deeper appreciation for Chinese culture through dance, costumes, music, legends, etc. She was also an inspiration to us all. While striving for excellence, she nurtured and developed each child as an individual and as part of the dance troupe. You couldn't ask for a better mentor and role model for our daughters who were developing their identity as Chinese American women. With her love and attention, she gave our kids the self-confidence to grow and to be strong, independent Asian women. Next slide. Let's start in the mid-90s. This Castle group picture was taken at one of the first performances that was outside of Castle at the Children's Museum at Navy Pier. I'd like to bring attention to Miss Jin in the back row with Joan So and Bernie Wong, and specifically mention Bernie here because she passed away just a couple months ago. And as president of Castle, she was instrumental in getting Miss Jin teaching at Castle and supported her relationship with Castle over all these years. Next slide. The next few slides give you an idea of those early classes where the kids learned the fundamentals of Chinese dance, where they worked hard, but they had fun too. As you can see, parents were also involved from the beginning. Paula Madden and Frank Wappel joined the class for exercise and then got involved in dance performances. And if you look really closely at the Yellow River dancers pictures from the early years, you'll see Paula in many of them. Next slide. Miss Jin kept parents and families close together and involved. She brought us into her heart and into her home. And that special attention paid off with our involvement behind the scenes. Let me tell you, from fitting costumes, hair, and makeup, to staging dancers and taking responsibility for music and announcing it at events. I'd also like to mention here Elliot Rosen, who passed away this year. As one of the dads, he was instrumental in the paperwork for the development of the Little Stars Foundation. And he was always available for a meal in Chinatown and schlepping large props for dance performances in his van. In particular, he dragged the monstrous war drum for his daughter Samantha's dance. Next slide. Another group of Chinese adoptive families, Oak Park Dancing Daughters, also partnered with Miss Jin for learning Chinese dance. For 12 years, Miss Jin touched the lives of over 50 dance students and their families in Oak Park. According to Mary Kay Records, their president, Miss Jin will be remembered as a most treasured gift to all her devoted students and their parents. Even more than the dance movements they acquired was the kind, patient, consistent, and loving nurturance that Miss Jin provided them. Next slide. As time progressed, the girls grew more accomplished as dancers, and there were more and more students. In addition to increasing the number of lessons, Miss Jin began to offer intermediate and then advanced classes. Meanwhile, the dancers learned many more dances and gained experience in front of the local community around Chicago. Next slide. In addition, Miss Jin provided opportunities for more challenging dances, and many were the versions of adult dances from the minorities or classical traditions. Next slide. She also offered solos and duos that were unique to each dancer and that rounded out program offerings for Asian and ethnic festivals. giving every dancer more opportunities to perform. Here are the Little Stars' iconic duos. The Reverse Pipa and Flying Fairies, performed by the Lau sisters, Charlene and Sharon, and Chasing Fish, which was perfected by father-daughter team Frank and Carissa Waffle. Next slide. Miss Jin matched the unique dances to skill sets, and more solos were developed. Memorable solos include Melody Lee's Xiao Pu Xiao, the twins' Happy Milkmaids, Miera's, and then Fran Recker's Happy Ye Girl. Next slide. And others continued in the repertoire, like Selena's War Drum and Carissa's Handkerchief Dance.
Next slide. In the early 2000s, Miss Jin selected a very complicated dance, the famous Thousand Hands Buddha from China, to challenge the group and bring Little Star Dance Troupe together. It was then performed by the dancers, parents, and teachers. It became extremely popular and is still well received today. It has actually become a signature and award-winning dance performance by the current Flying Fairies youth dance group. Next slide. In the mid-2000s, Miss Jin added dance dramas to the repertoire of performance pieces. Essentially, dancers tell stories of Chinese legends through dance, including the classical dance War Drum and Victory on Golden Mountain by Samantha Rosen, Anna, and Selena Madden, and Journey of the Pioneer Princess by Melody Lee. Next slide. At that time, Miss Jin also chose the ultimate dance drama, Butterfly Lovers. It was Miss Jin's most elaborate undertaking to date, a 22-minute violin concerto from China that tells the story of the Butterfly Lovers, the Romeo and Juliet story of China. It was performed in 2003 at Malcolm X College Showcase, and later in 2004 at Miss Jin's 55th anniversary recital in partnership with Yellow River Performing Arts Group, where Miss Jin made a surprise appearance in the finale.
Next slide. In 2004, Miss Jin wanted to further enhance the learning and first-hand experience of Chinese heritage and culture for her dancers and families. She and her son UD organized a trip to China. They opened their personal lives for a more in-depth learning experience. In Beijing, they held a performance jointly with UD's dance students and students from the Dance Academy of Beijing and the Opera School of Children. It was a cultural trip too, and where they visited many China landmarks, including the Forbidden City and the Temple of Heaven. Next slide. In 2011, a few dancers from Little Star joined Flying Fairies and UD's dancers in China to participate in an international dance competition in Shanghai. Next slide. Along the way, the news media took notice. When Miss Jin first arrived, she was recognized in Chinese language newspapers for dancing in spring festival galas and charity events. Eventually, partnerships with Castle, Yellow River, Shilin, and the Chinese Fine Arts Society all contributed to broader coverage of performances she choreographed and directed. Next slide. The special partnership with Chinese Fine Arts Society, and especially the spectacle Qixi, that Julie Ma will present next, further deepened ties in the Chicagoland community and brought more media exposure and recognition to Miss Jin. You can see major networks like ABC or NBC Morning News covering performances during Asian festivals. Next slide. Oh, how the Little Stars all grown up in 2011. By that time, the dancers had grown into an elite group meeting regularly at Malcolm X College. This is a picture from Miera's last dance class. Next slide. These dancers were able to reach the new heights in Chinese dance performance and ultimately were mature enough to take on the magnitude of principal or lead roles in Butterfly Lovers and the spectacle Qixi in Millennium Park. Next slide. However, all good things come to an end, and now 10 years later, each of these young women of Yellow Stars are demonstrating the independence and strive for excellence instilled by Miss Jin. Next slide. They are becoming doctors, nurses, academics, educators, community activists. They're working with children, adults, animals. Some are married and starting to have children of their own. Last slide. All have shared a special bond with Miss Jin and have greatly benefited from her love and devotion. Hopefully our experience, and based on the tributes today, I hope it has, it shows that we've paved the way for current and future dancers to carry on in the tradition of Miss Jin's inspiration and dedication to Chinese dance and the development of strong, successful Chinese American women. And now I'd like to turn it over to Julie Ma, fellow dance mom and president of the Chinese Fine Arts Society.
Thank you, Kathy. Let me just not pull that right over you. So as Kathy said, my name is Julie Ma, and I'm the president of the Chinese Fine Arts Society. Our mission is to promote awareness and appreciation of China's 5,000-year-old cultural heritage through music and the arts. I first met Jing Laoshi in 2009. Oh, my presentation is not up. There we go. So I first met Jing Laoshi in 2009. Mayor Daley had just declared the third week of July to be China Week in Chicago, and the city had just granted us the opportunity to present a spectacle in Millennium Park. Nina Chen, the CFAR's artistic director at that time, and I had proposed that we would bring Qixi, the Chinese Valentine's story, to life through a traveling performance around Millennium Park. Nina and I had envisioned a couple of dancers performing the roles of Zunyu and Youlang, maybe 6 or 7 sisters, and perhaps a few martial artists traveling around the park, starting at the Bean, then a tiny little pas de deux at Wrigley Square, some other thing at Crown Fountain, and finally finishing up back at the Bean. But then Nina met Jing Laoshi, and what we got was this. Next slide. Oops. One more slide.
The story of Youlang and Zuni is an ancient tale of love, duty, and compassion, and forms the basis of a Chinese holiday called Qixi, which occurs every year on the eve of the 7th day of the 7th lunar month, and is commonly known as the Chinese equivalent of Valentine's Day. One of the unique elements of this performance is that we were able to collaborate with 200 artists from all over the Chicago area to present the story of Qixi.
For more information, please visit www.chinesefinearts.org. 再见，谢谢你们。
It was amazing. The precision of the dancers, the beauty of the costumes, and the sheer number of dancers that Jing Laoshi brought were all incredible and set a standard for all of the other arts organizations in Chicago to meet. One of the things I remember most vividly, next slide, oh, there we are, back please, was that Jing Laoshi was always teaching, right to the moment of the performance, where for example, where I saw her here, even during the performance, sitting in front of the littlest dancers, miming all of their moves so they wouldn't get confused, with a huge smile on her face, so that they would also remember to smile. Next slide, please. It was the beginning of a magical partnership, which has extended across the past 12 years. Next slide, please. Jing Laoshi brought her precise dancers, her diversity of dances, and her amazing costumes to our Chinese New Year events at Navy Pier, totally elevating them to a different level. Next slide, please. We subsequently partnered with, excuse me. We subsequently were given the opportunity to present the Chinese New Year kickoff at the Chicago Cultural Center and at outreach events, next slide please, at Adler Planetarium, the Field Museum, and other high-profile venues in Chicago. Next slide please. We even adapted Qixi to tell the story through a lantern procession on the Riverwalk in Chicago. Next slide please. Jing Laoshi adapted several of her dances to enable us to tell the story of Chang'er, the moon goddess, and Houyi, the celestial archer, for the Chinese Fine Arts Society's first Moon Festival Gala. Next slide, please. We subsequently partnered with the Joffrey Ballet to present the Moon Festival at the Art Institute the following year with our star male dancer, David Huang. Jing Laoshi also, next slide, please. Jing Laoshi also partnered with us to create our Living Statues program, which we presented at venues that did not have space for a proper dance performance. And she worked with each of the girls to create a special routine that would showcase both their skills and also educate the audience and the dancers about the various ethnic groups and historical periods represented by the dancers. Next slide, please. And she did that with every single dancer, and they all delivered these beautiful little vignettes at these venues where we couldn't have a full dance. Next slide, please. This was at the third Moon Festival Gala that we had at Pagoda Red, and our beautiful dancers decorated the entire place, and it was magical. Next slide, please. Most recently, Jing Laoshi even taught the award-winning Figure Skate Chicago team how to use Chinese fans and ribbons, and fitted them all in Chinese costumes for a performance at the Maggie Daly Ribbon for our Chinese New Year Lantern procession, which started at the Art Institute and progressed through Millennium Park and ended at the Ribbon. Next slide, please. Through all of these years and all of these events, Jing Laoshi has been an incredible creative partner, mentor, and friend to us and to the city of Chicago. Over and over again, Jing Laoshi would take my half-baked ideas and turn them into something amazing and beautiful. Thank you, Jing Laoshi, for all that you have done for us, and helped all of these generations of dancers here in Chicago. We will miss you. Next, I'd like to introduce Judy Zhu from Yellow River.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judy, and slide, please. As one of the Mrs. Jin's students in the early year, I'm honored to take this opportunity to share the unforgettable experience and testimony of her professional talent, devotion, artistic creation, and achievement in the United States. Next slide, please. Late 1990s, Mrs. Jin and Mrs. Yang Zhuo found the first Chinese classical and folk dance troupe in the Midwest United States, the Yellow River Dancing Troupe. The great achievement during her tenure as a dancing director became the first dazzling milestone for continuing success in the United States. Next, please. Recordable at the beginning of the year, we faced a lot of challenge, mainly lack of funding and resource. Next. We could only using the COD fee space for our class and rehearsal, using the window sill and chair as a bar for training, and using the big glass door as a mirror for our dance. Next, please. However, Ms. Jin dedicated and focused on developing and promoting Chinese classical dancing arts and education, and she always select the way typical and represent the highest level of dance to us for learn, and so that help us to understand the main concept and philosophy of the Chinese dance. And also in order to better communicate it to the US dancer and the ABC dancer, she learned English by herself too. And without the funding, she handmade the dancing costume and supplies. Very soon, one and another great Chinese dancing work has bring out and represented to the US stage, and such as pickup dance, tongue drum dance, 珠穆朗玛, Girls River, P-Pass, Flying Climb, National Gala, Butterflying, and Yellow River very soon become a well-known dancing group in the Midwest, and attract more and more professional dancers to join, such as Xu Xiuling, come from the Guangxi Dancing Art Institute, Li Jiajia come from the Guangdong Dance Academy, and Sunshine come from Taiwan, I remember. Next slide. Not only successfully host many influential large-scale performances locally, we receive a lot of invitation to perform in other states, such as Kansas City, Indiana University, Springfield, St. Louis, and it's a lot more. Next, please. And this is the beautiful list scorecard to list all the major events we hosted and performed. And due to the time constraint, then I'm not go one by one in detail here. Next, please. And each year, Rural also contribute a significant number of performances for the nonprofit and charity sector, nursing home, senior home, public school, and communities. Next, please. I would like to also point out that Mrs. Jin was very, very good to identify and discover the young dancing talents, and she could quickly discover people good in dance in any occasion and almost at any time, anywhere. I remember like Xiaping, Gao Yunxiao, Xiao Ying, and there's a lot more. Jin Laoshi discovered them in the basketball game and in Chinese school, even in a shopping center. And after training, they all become our shining dancer and just become a dancing lover and continuing in dance to enrich their life. And thank you very much, Mrs. Jing. And you are really always young in the dancing professional area and on stage. Wish you all the best. And I think I'm time out, and I will pass the microphone to Ms. Li Jie. She has a lot to share. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Li Jie, and I have been a dance student with Miss Jin for almost 20 years now. Jing Lao Shi opened Chicago's first dance class for adults and has devoted more than 25 years here to promoting traditional and classical Chinese dances. Next, please. She developed her unique and effective ways of instructions, focusing both on basic techniques as well as a broad range of dance styles. Her classroom demonstrations of even the simplest routines are always a joy to watch, as they showcased her grace and inner beauty as a seasoned artist. Next. Over the years, the Flying Fairies adult dance class has moved locations many times, from the Great Hall of Castle to the basement studio at Malcolm X College, to the Dance Infusion Studio, and then finally to our current location at Zhonghua Kung Fu School. Most of our students are working moms who initially started taking classes as a way of exercise. With Jing Lao Shi's patience and dedication, we have all gradually grown to become confident dancers, participating in many large-scale performances in various events. Next. In the past decade, the largest public events our students took part in have to be the annual Lunar New Year celebrations in Navy Pier. Our performances at the Crystal Garden were always a focal point at each year's show. Classical group dances like Dun Huang, Chu Yao, and Jing Hong always attract the most applauses and many requests for a picture after the show. Next. In recent years, the celebration moved to the Aeon Ballroom with a great big raised stage, where we performed traditional pieces like Colorful Clouds and Ink Plum, both spectacular pieces in their own right. Next. In 2016, our student Amanda Yi facilitated in the organization of the first overseas Taoli Cup dance competition in the central U.S. region, a high-level, large-scale event and the first of its kind in Chicago. Our group entered the contest with 2 pieces, Cai Wei and Chu Yao, and brought back 2 shiny trophies. It was an unforgettable experience. Next. Many of our students have followed Ms. Jin's classes for many years. We like to gather for some fun times whenever there is the opportunity. Holiday parties and after-performance get-togethers are always memorable. Years of dance training made us all more confident in front of the camera, too. In all the pictures, though, dressed up or not, Jing Lao Shi is always the most radiant and graceful one. We love and treasure these moments we share with you, Jing Lao Shi. Next. In 2018, Flying Fairies student Amanda, Jane, and May had the opportunity to learn the Peking opera dance Ode to Pear Blossom from the distinguished Chinese dance director Zhang Hao, also a student of Jing Lao Shi. Next. In 2019, these 3 students started the Chicago Talents Group, a performance arts institute that focuses on fashion and modeling, and then expanded into acting, drama, and K-pop. Chicago Talents Group is rapidly gaining recognition and praises, sending their students to many international and Main Street stages. Next. Another of our students, Angela Tam, who has taken dance classes with Jing Lao Shi since elementary school, has now decided to become a dance teacher herself and started her own studio, Yinghe Art Center in Bridgeport. Next. Another of our most seasoned student, Ji Xing, is currently serving as the dance instructor of Chicago Chinese Culture and Arts Society. Both of their students are now frequent performers at various events in the city. Next to present is Jing Miao from Xiling North Shore Chinese School. Thank you.
In the summer of 2010, thousands of audiences were enchanted by the spectacular Qixi performance in Chicago. Among them was a former principal of Xiling North Shore Chinese School. And the rest is history. Taught 2 youth classes and 1 adult class at Xiling, covering Chinese classical dances as well as folk dances. Jing Laoshi inspired many young girls as well as their moms who benefited from learning Chinese dance in many different ways. Dance performances became highlights of our annual Chinese New Year celebrations and were fond memories of the community. These dances brought us not only the joyful movements and colorful costumes, but also instilled the essence of Chinese culture and history in the form of beauty. During her final year teaching at Xiling, Jing Laoshi met her beloved student Zhou, to whom she would later pass on the baton to lead the Flying Fairies dance through the pandemic and into the future. We appreciate the impact Jing Laoshi made in our community, and we wish her the very best in the years to come. Happy retirement, Jing Laoshi. We will miss you a lot. Thank you. And next, Tina will share her memory of the Flying Fairies youth class.
Hi, I'm Tina, and I'm the newest generation of the Chinese dance mom. Welcome to the Flying Fairies Youth Masterclass. Next slide. This group of young women for the past decade have carried on the tradition of Chinese classical dance established by the Little Stars. They have represented the Flying Fairies dance troupe in local, regional, and national performances. Many of the group members, affectionately known as the Sisters, started with Miss Jin at age 3. What started as a weekly class for fun evolved into a community for support and sisterhood. Next slide. As young dancers, the girls were eager to just dress up and perform for their parents. Saturdays were always filled with fun, laughter, and Miss Jin. This class also began at the Chinese American Service League. Next slide. They were eager to dance with the big girls, and they often played supporting dance roles. Next slide. Eventually, the girls were encouraged to showcase their own dances and were invited to perform at various summer festivals. Next slide. In addition to performing group dances, Miss Jin encouraged the girls to develop trios or duos in an effort to sharpen skills. Next slide. The dance troupe was often asked to celebrate Lunar New Year and the Lantern Festivals at a variety of Chicago landmarks, from Navy Pier to the Cultural Center to the Field Museum. Next slide. The girls mastered 2 dances a year and became fan favorites during the Lunar New Year Here, they are a part of the City of Chicago's kickoff for the Year of the Ram. Next slide. It was during this time that the youth class began entering dance competitions. By increasing their class frequency, they increased their dedication to the discipline of Chinese dance. The girls were successful in winning regional competitions, which of course led to attending nationals in cities around the United States. Ms. Jin continues to work with each girl to develop her natural abilities and to shape her own dance persona. Next slide. Eager for the students to expand their skills, Ms. Jin asked master teachers Huang and Yudi to provide additional training and discipline. The dancers begin to learn more complex dances. Ms. Jin working tirelessly with the students to perfect their movements with multiple classes and rehearsals. The girls slowly mastered the intricate details involved in the 1,000 Hands of Buddha. Next slide. The 1,000 Hands of Buddha was a success in the 2016 Chicago kickoff celebration of the Lunar New Year. Next slide. The troupe returns to the International Dance Challenge, winning multiple awards for this complicated ensemble dance. Next slide. The girls will represent Miss Jin and the dance studio in national competitions, sharing the beauty of their dances with new audiences. The students would compete year after year with the same dedication that Ms. Jin had instilled in them from a very young age. Next slide. The 1,000 Hands of Buddha won second runner-up in the overall national competitions. And here's a list of all the different competitions they entered. Next slide. The next year, the girls would revisit an earlier dance. They are no longer the little lotus fairies of their youth, but the seven sisters in the Chinese folktale of Qixi. Next slide. Next slide. Miss Jin continues to add beauty and grace with the new Chinese dance skills, learning the art of dancing with long sleeves. Next slide. Here, the dancers are able to bring to life Qixi for a Riverwalk audience as they are part of the celebration Arts in the Dark. Next slide. There's the dance, Arts in the Dark. Next slide. In their last performance before the pandemic, these young ladies ushered in another Lunar New Year, performing with another Chinese dance element, the silk ribbons. Next slide. These young women have learned beauty, grace, and compassion from Miss Jin and Chinese dance. They are moving through life with the confidence and skills that you have taught them. They and we, the parents, will always be honored and humbled that you shared your gift with us. I would like to share with you some highlights from their award-winning performance of 1,000 Hands of Buddha. Next slide. If you could roll that, it'd be great. Well, you will have to find that video online. You could probably find it on the Chinese Fine Arts Society. They worked tirelessly to perfect that, and it was due to scheduling and a promise that I had given them to never put on that headdress again, that we are unable to perform it for you live today. So, Miss Jin, it's with 1,000 hands that we give you love and thanks, and we love you so much. Thank you. So that concludes our presentation, our registration presentation. I'd like to invite our program to continue on. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our presenters. The idea of flying fairies came from the paintings in the caves of Dunhuang area in China. It has been a signature dance of Jin Laoshi's group. It is so significant that Jin Laoshi actually named her dance group Flying Fairies. She herself had been dancing this dance since she was 18. Now, generations of her students are performing this very, very beautiful dance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Flying Fairies. So that was a dance / picking opera. It's a beautiful combination of both of the jewels of Chinese culture. Very well delivered to this group of an audience. The next performance is called The Lady of the Tang Dynasty. It's delivered by Jin Laoshi's students as the gift. The leading dancer, Miss Wang Xiaoling, flew all the way from Los Angeles to deliver that very performance. Please welcome Ladies of the Tang Dynasty. What a cute group of little scholars. The next performance is a painting. It's an ink painting that was presented to you by our dancers with their black and white costume. They will present the traditional favorite of Chinese ink painting, the mountains and the rivers. Please enjoy.
谢谢 ，Thank you。
Thank you.
我叫陆赫德，今天很荣幸也很高兴的来参加金老师的这个一个这么大型的一个活动。我简单的自我介绍一下，我呢是金老师的弟弟，我的恩师，刘嘉玲先生和刘嘉玲先生也是金福龙的关门弟子，也是特别一个怎么说呢，老师对我非常上心的一个学生。
Let me introduce myself. My name is Ke De Lu. I also consider myself a student of Jin Lao Shi, and it's my great pleasure to join today's performance.
今天呢，我们舞台上的所有演员呢，他们是用舞蹈来祝福我们的金老师。那么今天呢，我代表我的恩师刘嘉玲先生，对金老师也送上美好的祝福。我用我的歌声祝福我们的金老师身体健康，心想事成。
Today's performance are mostly dancing. Today I'm going to use my singing to also represent my teacher Liu Jialing to give the best wishes to Jin 老师。
那么接下来呢，我要再一首好听的歌曲《感恩》送给我们的金老师。
My next song is called Gratitude as a gift to Miss Jin 老师。
来，音响老师再给点那个效果，谢谢。
after pipa, dance, and a little waltz, we're going to present to you an award-winning dance piece. This performance was coached and staged by Zhou Xu. It's a contemporary dance that has won the highest award of Taoli World Dance Competition, the Elite Platinum Award. So ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the dance Silk.
那么轻松，回忆就对我说。
赶紧练舞去。
练功必须得那太阳，晚上还要这个阳光，一日不练是空。习武间习得，却遇见雪里，我也心中牢记。英雄台下10年功，为台上1分钟，艰难寂寞谁会懂？豪情挥拳于风中，神经退似游龙，传承一代功夫梦。英雄台下10年功，为台上10分钟，艰难寂寞谁会懂？豪情挥拳于风中，神经退似游龙，传承一代功夫梦。练功必须得那太阳，晚上还要这个阳光，一日不练是空。习武间习得，却遇见雪里，我也心中牢记。英雄台下10年功，为台上1分钟，艰难寂寞谁会懂？豪情挥拳于风中，神经退似游龙，传承一代功夫梦。
平地草芥青来。
我心里只有个梦，想进嵩山少林学武功，就像电影里帅气的超人，披荆斩棘，飞檐走壁。神助你，我可以行如流水，承担一切，横扫一片，那么轻松，回忆就对我说。
赶紧练舞去。
练功必须得那太阳，晚上还要这个阳光，一日不练是空。习武间习得，却遇见雪里，我也心中牢记。英雄台下10年功，为台上1分钟，艰
beautiful combination of Shaolin Kung Fu and wind flows. It gives us a sense of the toughness of Chinese Kung Fu and the softness of Chinese dance. And the next performance came from veteran students of Jin Lao Shi. The years of them learning dance from Jin Lao Shi ranging from 10 years to 30 years. So please enjoy the next performance, Ink Plum. So, beautiful peacock and crouching tiger, hidden dragon, I would call this dance, right? So they demonstrate the animal forms of Chinese dance. This very last dance that you will be seeing now has a little history attached to it. In ancient China, the dance has two divisions or groups or categories. One is civil, one is military. The civil ones, the instrument that they use is a feather. And the military ones, they use shields, swords, and axes. Confucius had a group of students who designed a dance called 直语, means holding the feather to show respect to your teacher. So today, Jin Lao's student will be holding the feather, deliver this dance to show how grateful they are to Jin Lao. Please enjoy 直语, holding the feather. 谢，演出到此结束，祝金老师秋月圆满，夜夜韶华，祝飞天艺术团薪火相承，青春永驻，谢谢大家。